Welcome to this session on the AT Ambassadors program, Accessibility, Assistive Technology, and Student Voice. Your presenters today will be Caitlin Radick, Resource Teacher with Assistive Technology Services, and Molly Kropp, also a Resource Teacher with ATS. The stars of today's show, though, will be our AT Ambassadors.
Hi, my name is Richie Ruiz, and I am an AT Ambassador.
Hi, I'm Harry, and I am an AT Ambassador too.
Hi, thank you for joining us to learn more about the Assistive Technology Student Ambassador Program. This program was founded in 2012, almost 10 years ago now, and has grown and evolved over the years. In its current state, we have 7 AT Ambassadors ranging from elementary to high school. When we first started, all of our students were in high school, and then we sort of have changed the scope to include students from all levels of Fairfax County Public Schools. One of the goals of Assistive Technology Services in working with all of our students is to help them learn about the tools and strategies that really help them to learn and to help them to access learning and instruction. And part of that is the idea that our students, as they learn that, they develop self-determination skills. They learn to make decisions and choices and to communicate that to their parents and their teachers so that they can self-advocate to have their needs met. Our ambassadors are students who are very good in this area, who are motivated to learn and to figure out how to learn better and to advocate not only for themselves but for their peers and to help their peers, their teachers, and other parents understand why assistive technology is so important for learning and how it increases accessibility and how that helps them. So one of the primary goals of the AT Ambassador program is to highlight the technology, self-determination, and leadership skills of students in Fairfax County Public Schools. So as you watch this session, you'll learn more about our students, about their journeys, and about what's important to them. The first thing that you'll see is a tour of our website. You'll see a little bit of the general ATS website, but we'll be focusing, of course, on the section that deals with the AT Ambassador program. The reason for that is so that after this session, you can delve more deeply and learn more about the students and about the tools that they use and so forth. Once that tour is finished, you'll actually be hearing from our students. You'll see a variety of clips, some from this year, some from prior years. We're even including some clips from students who have graduated so that you can get a scope of what this program is about, what our students are learning, and what our overall aim is. We hope you enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
So before we start our tour of the AT Ambassadors website and meet some of our ambassadors, I'd like to show you how to find us. So the easiest way to find this website is by going to Google. So I'll start a new Chrome tab, and then I'm going to type in ATS FCPS. So it's Assistive Technology Services, Fairfax County Public Schools. And then I'll hit enter. You'll notice in my Google search results, I get a number of different options. This first link up here will take us to our main page for the ATS website. You'll also notice on here we have our ATS Twitter. So if you are a Twitter user and would like to follow us, make sure you follow us at ATS_FCPS. Our ambassadors are featured on there frequently, as well as all sorts of other tech tips and tricks. So if we go ahead to our ATS website, this is the ATS homepage, and it has a description of what Assistive Technology Services is and sort of how we support students in our mission. And then if we scroll down, you'll see there's these different cards to navigate to different portions of the website. So there's links out to resources for to support students with reading difficulties. There's different resources for students using augmentative and alternative communication. There's resources for executive functioning. There's all sorts of wonderful things, and if you have the time, I highly suggest sort of looking through some of the wealth of resources that are on this website. But today we're talking about our ambassadors, so we're going to go to this top card that says AT Ambassadors Program and click on that. When I click on the card, it will open a new website, and it may take just a second to load. So now we're on our AT Ambassadors Program webpage. At the top of the webpage, you'll have a description of our program, and then you'll notice there's a video here. This one's a couple years old, so most of the students in it have now graduated, but each student sort of talks about what assistive technology has meant to them and sort of how this program came to be and why it's important to them. It's a really great way to hear some perspectives from some of our past students, so I highly recommend checking that out. Below that, we have a public service announcement that our students made a few years ago. You'll notice there's a mix of some of our current students as well as some of our graduates. The students had a really great time with this project, and they made it all together, put it all together themselves. And so that's a really nice little video if you have a chance to watch it. After you scroll down past our first two videos, you'll see a couple of different links. So if we click on this first link, Meet Our AT Ambassadors, it'll open up a new sort of sub window here. And we can meet all of our current AT student ambassadors. Each student has a photo, a sort of bio description. Most of them have a little video link here, which is sort of just an introduction where they talk about themselves, their assistive technology, and why it's important to them. Additionally, most of our students made training videos about 2 years ago where they showed how to use a technology tool. So they picked one of the assistive technologies that they use, and they made a training video so that other students could learn how to use that technology. And those videos are featured on this website. They're also featured in some different places on our main ATS page. And we'll talk about that as we sort of look at each student here. So our first student ambassador is Sophia. Sophia's been with us for several years, and she actually uses some technology that is personally owned, so it's not all FCPS provided. She has a personal iPad, and she uses the Notability app, and she really enjoys the iPad for keeping things organized. Sophia really also enjoys speaking at our different conferences. So a few times we've had the student ambassadors either present and speak at a conference or have a table at some of those more physical conferences before COVID. We'd have a display table where different folks would come up and talk to our ambassadors and ask them questions about their assistive technology. And Sophia's really enjoyed doing that. She's a great advocate for using AT and why it's important. Our next student ambassador is Augie. Augie's one of our older ambassadors. He's a high school student, and he uses an accent communication device as his voice. So he has two head switches that are mounted, and he clicks the head switches and uses them to choose the words on his device. His device then has voice output, so it says whatever he's chosen, and he is able to use this to participate in classes, talk to his friends, talk to his family, and he's used it to present at conferences as well. So he was one of our presenters at our RATE conference a few years back. Augie also has a bio video where you can learn a little bit more about him, and he made a little video about the accent and how it helps him to communicate. Dominic is also one of our high schoolers, and he does a great job talking to other students about assistive technology. He's inspired a lot of our other current ambassadors to join the program back when he was in elementary school. And he's just a great leader for our program. Dom uses a word prediction program. He used to use Co-Writer, and now he's using Read and Write. And he has his video featured, his tutorial featured on our AT Tools for Writing website. Richie is another one of our fantastic ambassadors. He also really enjoyed using Writer and the Learning Ally program. So Learning Ally is a program that a lot of schools have subscriptions to. It's also available for students who have AIM Virginia to have accounts that way. And he uses that to read all sorts of different books for school. He's always just a really positive influence for his classmates, and he really enjoys helping his classmates with their computers if they're having tech trouble. Elle is one of our younger ambassadors, and she has been using word prediction software as well. She used Co-Writer Universal before we kind of phased that out, and now she's using the Read and Write program. She also really enjoys using Natural Reader, and she says that that really helps her read tests and different things on the screen. So that's been a really helpful tool for her. She did her tutorial video on Co-Writer, and that is featured on our AT Tools for Writing website as well. Dorothy has been an ambassador for several years now, and she uses a whole host of different tools. She really enjoys using a personal iPad. She also has an FCPS on computer, and she uses that for some of those more inclusive tools. So she's using Microsoft Word and some of the Google Suite tools to help her with reading and writing and to help keep her organized. One of Dorothy's favorite tools is a program called Fast Math, and she used that when she was in the classroom to practice some of her math facts. She actually made a video tutorial on how to use that, which is on our AT Tools for Math website. Dimitri is another one of our amazing student ambassadors. He uses Natural Reader as well as Read and Write and Google Voice Typing. And Dimitri's been great about teaching others how to use technology. He loves playing basketball, and he gets really excited about using technology both at home and at school. He did one of his videos on a reading tool, and you can find a link to that here, as well as on our AT Tools for Reading website. Emmy is one of our newer ambassadors. She just joined us right before COVID and everything hit last year, and she uses the Immersive Reader tool from Microsoft. It's one of our inclusive tools, so it's built into a lot of programs and websites already. So it's available in Flipgrid and Pear Deck and some of those different tools, as well as the Microsoft Edge browser. She did tech chat presentations for the staff at her school, in elementary school, and she actually had the FCPS camera crew come out and interview her for all of this great training that she was providing for her teachers as well as other students. Zach is another one of our ambassadors. I believe he is our newest ambassador. He joined us around the same time as Emmy, and he really enjoyed using some of our reading programs. So last year he used Snap and Read, and he liked the little target that he could use to take screenshots. Now he's using the screenshot reader within the Read and Write program, and he's really enjoyed that, and he's been showing others how to use it even during virtual learning. He really likes technology, and he really enjoys helping his friends in class and other students. In addition to all of our current ambassadors, you'll see a link here at the bottom of our page where you can find some information about some of our AT Ambassador graduates. So these are students that were with us through the last few years who have now graduated and moved on. So the first one here is Hope, and Hope has done keynote addresses at some of our bigger conferences. She's done presentations for I'm Determined at the Super Transition Saturday a few years back, and you can find her videos to those different presentations here under her profile. She's also got her sort of intro bio video. And one really nice thing about Hope is she is still an ambassador. She's an ambassador now at her university and is speaking out for the importance of student voice and students with disabilities. You can look for her on social media. She has a hashtag Hope for Inclusion, and she actually has a blog as well where she's posting some of her different experiences in the university. A couple of our other awesome graduates, Andrew, who is featured in that video on our AT Ambassadors page at the beginning, where he talks as a much younger student about assistive technology. He also has a few different videos where he's presented and different websites where he's presented material or been featured. He created one of our tutorials as well, and so he's featured on our tools for writing. Nicole was one of our ambassadors just for 1 year, but she made a big impact in that 1 year. She uses a communication device and a communication app called Verbally, and she used her device to communicate and to create a training video for other students who may be interested in using the device. She is a great advocate for AAC users. She's also a big Taylor Swift fan, and we were so happy to have her join our program for that 1 year. You can see her wonderful Verbally video here with Nicole's AT tools for communication. So that's just an idea of some of the amazing students who we currently have in our program and some of the ones who've moved on. Now you'll see in the next portion of this presentation actually what some of those students have to say about accessibility, inclusion, distance learning, and so many of those different topics that we're looking at over this sort of crazy school year.
So at this point, you're going to hear from our ambassadors. You'll hear a little bit from each of our students and even from some of our former students. You'll notice some students have more to say than others, and that's partly because they all have their own unique personalities, and also they are all on different places in their learning journey, both with assistive technology, self-advocacy, and self-determination. So you'll see a series of questions posed on cards so you'll know what we've asked them, and then you'll see a series of clips of answers.
Pretty much what we do is we stand up for our disabilities and we advocate for ourselves. And not only do we advocate for ourselves, we get help with our technology. And when we get help with our technology, our jobs as ambassadors is to tell other kids that, hey, you can do it and you can be this smart. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. I did it, you can do it. And that's pretty much what being an ambassador is all. It's being a leader, it's being a role model.
The AT Ambassador program is such a phenomenal program, and it brings kids together, and like we get to help other kids who aren't sure about what they need, and we give them a voice, which I think is what the whole point is to spread information about assistive technology and let those kids be heard.
I think accessibility means the ability to have a tool that is easy to have on the go or use whenever you need it. And it's right in your pocket or it's right in your use, so you can just get it and grab it quickly enough.
Thank you. Emmy?
So, what accessibility means to me is it doesn't mean you're cheating in any way. It's just leveling the playing field for you to be feeling like all your classmates. That's how I felt when I first started using assistive technology. I thought I was cheating and I thought I was doing something wrong, but it's just making me feel like all my other classmates and being on the same playing field as them.
I think accessibility means like it's like a big thing for me to be able to like get things easier or like be able to do this a certain way, like just like it's basically like helping me, you know, like it's like if I'm accessible to like use co-writer or something to help me like read something or write something, I just think it's like something you need.
I think that it's important that the people have access to what they need, and having that access could help them out a lot in like their schoolwork. Or
Have any of the three of you run into situations at school where things are not accessible to you?
Not really. Like, At the beginning, yes, when I didn't know about ATS and I didn't know like about all this like assistive technology, but yeah, but now like everything seems to like work out, and if I need help, then I just ask for it, and there's like something out there to get like to help me.
I don't think that I have ever had a time where I wasn't able to access the things that I needed. When I didn't know I could use those things, it was like just normal, but when I needed the help and I figured out that I had those different technologies that I could use, then it was really also really helpful when I needed it.
So it sounds all like you thought everything was fine, but then when you learned about the tools that you could use, things became easier?
Yeah, like for writing a paper and stuff, before I knew that I could use the different technologies, it was like a little bit harder to write because it was like I'd misspell things. And then when I learned that I could use all the different tools, it was easier and I had access to it.
Perfect. How about you, Richie? What changed for you when you learned about assistive technology?
So when I was second grade, I had a lot of trouble reading and writing. And when I first learned that there was Co-Writer and other programs that could help me, it kind of helped me better at getting reading. Helped me better to read and write.
Richie, what's your favorite tool that you use?
Learning AI.
Why?
Because I have a lot of books that I download and they're kind of my favorites.
Did you used to like reading books?
Not that much, but I got into it.
So having access to Learning Ally helped you like reading more?
Yes.
How about you guys, Dom or Elle? Did you find that you like reading more when you can listen, or does it make a difference to you at all?
I liked reading before Learning Ally, but it was hard for me to pronounce the words and like understand the book. But then when I got Learning Ally and I was able to listen to the book and like read along, it was easier to like figure out how the different words were pronounced, and I could understand the book.
To be honest, I don't like reading at all, but it does, like, Learning Ally makes it so much easier, and like it makes me, I don't want to say want to read because then I'd be lying, but like it's like if I needed to read a paper or something, or like a book for school for English or something, it makes it so much easier, and I'm not sitting there like counting the whole time, flipping page by page, and I'm just listening to this nice voice like read it to me.
So because it's more accessible to you, you're willing to do it, where before it was just a terrible chore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schoolwork is kind of hard for me because I don't know how to do it, but I use technology a lot, so technology helps me really get my homework done in time.
The first one is Learning Ally. I like to do it because I couldn't use Learning Ally at home and at school. It's like when I need some reading, sometimes the teacher will let me go on it, or sometimes the teacher will like read it out loud to the class. Also, another one is Snap and Read. It's like you have this like little plus sign, and then you bring it over a paragraph that does not have like words, like does not have like any audio, and you get it and then it reads automatically for you, and co-writer, it like shares it helps me like spell words when the teacher is busy with someone.
I use two switches behind my head. They help me. They do help me. Talk. They mean the pictures. It's great. I love my communication device.
Hi, my name is Dimitri, and I like using Natural Reader. My favorite part about Natural Reader is you could use Natural Reader for tests that don't have read alouds, and it helps me a lot because sometimes I have trouble reading.
I think it's funny because I used to use less technology than I normally would, but now I think that because we're like so used to technology, I think we're using it a lot more now, and I think that's a really good thing.
But what have you learned about yourself over the last couple of years, we'll say, or even this year in virtual learning? What have you learned about yourself, about kind of what helps you most? And how did you figure that out?
What I've learned about myself, just like through assistive technology and just doing this, is that like, to be honest, like everyone like is different. Everyone has a like different way of using assistive technology, and I figured out like what my way is, what my strengths and weaknesses are, and then like how to work with myself and how I can grow and talk to like my peers and my teachers and to help me become a better student. Like that's what I've learned a lot over the 3 or 4 years that I've done this.
And if I could add to that, I think one of the other things, Dominic, that you have done is keep talking to your teachers and to me about what's working, but also what's not working, right? So this tool is great, but I don't remember how to use it, or I don't remember to use it. I know how to use it, but I forget it's there. And so I'm going to ask,
That's a big thing for me also.
so what do you do about that?
Like getting the technology and then seeing that's there, using it for a week, and then just completely forgetting about it. That happens a lot, but I don't know, I just set myself reminders, and like on big things, I really have like, I got like post-its on my wall saying, use this, use that, because like my brain just doesn't remember things like at all. So I just have to use different ways to try and help me so I can like succeed in school. Yeah.
And did some of those things change when we switched to virtual? Like, did you have to refigure out how to remember things from home versus in school?
Yeah, and it was hard to use all my stuff, especially with the switch from from in to virtual, because my teachers were always there to remind me to use my stuff. And then I came to virtual, and then like my mom didn't really know that every class to tell me use this, blah 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 blah. So I was just there not using it, and so yeah, that was a big switch.
So how do you remember?
I have like reminders set. I have like post-it notes on my wall, all this stuff. I have like there's like this customized thing on my screen that shows like a different like circle around my read and write and all that.
So a lot of visual reminders to yourself.
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to figure out which reminders were the most helpful?
Yeah, it did. And like just to like see those reminders and then actually go and do it, not just see them and be like, oh, I don't really need it this time, or this time I should be fine without using my reading and write or something like that, because I do that a lot.
hearing a student advocating for themselves and finding a tool for themselves, I think it's more powerful for a student to say it.
Yeah, for me, that's like a big thing. Like, oh, I don't know. It's just like it gives you the freedom, and it makes you like want to use your tools when you're not getting told to do something. I don't know. I just feel that way. Like if someone's telling you to do something you really don't like, you're like, I kind of don't want to. But if the teacher just says, like, I don't know. But if you just like are allowed to just open it up and use it, then it makes you want to use it more.
When a teacher tells you to use a specific tool, it might not be the best tool for that certain activity like that you feel like if you wanted to do a certain tool for this activity because that's the tool that helps you out the most, and then like a teacher told you that you had to use another tool, then it'd be a little bit harder to do because you're so used to that tool helping you out with that specific assignment.
How about you, Richie?
So I like if the teacher tells me that I gotta use a tool eventually, I might ask her, can I use a different tool because I feel more comfortable with it? And like sometimes you gotta try things out. Maybe the program she's giving you to use it, maybe it's better than co-writer.
Yeah, so so being open to trying different things maybe than you're used to. So that leads me to a good question of how do you decide when you're given an assignment? If you have more than one tool to use, or your teacher says maybe use this tool, but you have that one, how do you decide which tool is the right tool for you in a particular situation?
So if I'm trying another program, I'm gonna have to be trying both of them and feel which feels more comfortable to me to use.
That it benefits people and it helps a lot, especially with people that have struggled with reading and spelling and all that. It's really would help and it will benefit you by a lot, especially because it helps me a lot.
I like that kids have different disabilities because then it puts out that not everyone in the world is the same, because otherwise that'd be super boring. So the kids with disabilities, I think, were born with a gift because they have to overcome the disability, but on the way they make lots of great friends, they learn more about themselves, and they learn to be themselves.
You're gonna do it because your disability and your weakness does not define who you are as a person. And I wish that people, it's that simple. I mean, people will say, sky's the limit. There is no limit. There is no limit because I've met kids and I've met people and there is no limit. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And I promise you that's a fact. No matter what anyone tells you, I believe if you believe that anything can